Pablo Escobar was one of the most famous criminals in history. He was born in Colombia in 1949. He came from a poor family and grew up in Medellin. As a young man, Escobar was ambitious. He wanted a better life for himself and his family. Escobar started his life of crime with small jobs. He stole cars and sold illegal cigarettes. He wanted to become rich and powerful quickly. Soon, he saw a way to make a lot of money: cocaine. In the 1970s, cocaine use was growing in the United States. Escobar realized he could make a fortune by bringing cocaine from Colombia to the US. He used his intelligence and ruthlessness to build his drug empire. Escobar quickly rose to become a powerful drug lord. He built a large and complex organization. He had many people working for him. He smuggled tons of cocaine into the United States. Escobar used violence and fear to control his business. He had his own army of criminals. They worked for him and protected his cocaine. He bribed or threatened anyone who stood in his way. At the height of his power, Escobar was one of the richest men in the world. Forbes magazine listed him as one of the world's billionaires for 7 years in a row. He owned expensive houses, cars, and even his own zoo with exotic animals. Escobar used his money to gain power and influence. He gave money to build houses, schools, and hospitals in poor neighborhoods. This made him popular with some people. They called him Robin Hood because he gave back to the poor. However, Escobar was also responsible for the deaths of many people. He ordered the killings of anyone who betrayed him or threatened his business. This included police officers, judges, and politicians. Pablo Escobar was a complex figure. He was a family man who loved his wife and children. He was also a ruthless criminal. He was responsible for the deaths of thousands of people. Some people in Colombia saw Escobar as a hero. He helped the poor and gave them hope. He built houses and schools for them. They saw him as someone who fought against the government and the rich. However, most people saw Escobar as a dangerous criminal. He brought violence and fear to Colombia. He was responsible for the deaths of many innocent people. He corrupted the government and the police. He made Colombia a dangerous place to live. The Colombian government and the United States government worked together to stop Escobar. They offered a reward for his capture. They put pressure on him to surrender. But Escobar was always one step ahead. In 1991, Escobar surrendered to the Colombian government. However, he made a deal that allowed him to stay in a luxurious prison that he built himself. He continued to run his drug empire from prison. But Escobar's time was running out. The Colombian government, with the help of the United States, was determined to capture him. In 1993, Escobar escaped from prison. He went into hiding, but the authorities were closing in. On December 2, 1993, Colombian security forces found Escobar hiding in a house in Medellin. A shootout followed and Escobar was shot and killed. He was 44 years old. Escobar's death was a turning point for Colombia. The country began to recover from the violence and corruption. However, the drug trade continued, and new cartels emerged. The legacy of Pablo Escobar, the king of cocaine, continues to fascinate and horrify the world.